Hi Leo, thanks for joining me. This is your July 2020 reading, and I'm using the Alchemy England 1977 tarot deck, exploring it for the first time with all of you since I've come back. And yeah, unlike my other tarot decks, with this one, the cards reveal themselves in the funniest way. I love it. They just start to peek out. And for the purposes of this reading, I'll be drawing either one or two. And the reason for that is because I did upload a July 2020 general reading for all signs for the collective. So have a look at that, because I think it's extremely useful, and I'll probably be referring back to it as well. And in that reading, we draw a lot more cards. Yeah. Six of Pentacles, and it is in the reverse. Now, this card has been coming up in a number of ways, and quite frequently as well. So I think only one other sign, and it may have been Virgo, got this card, but they got it in the reverse. And in what I mean by it coming up a lot recently is that in the last few days, as I've been shuffling the cards, not just this card, but other decks as well, it's kind of just been it's been, I want to call it a nosy card, because even when I feel like I'm not done shuffling, it just wants to show itself. It's kind of like, etching into my subconscious saying, you're going to have to pay attention to this card whether you like it or not, okay? Anyway, nothing too funky about the illustration in this deck, especially for the minor cards. It's more around the major cards where all the lovely illustrations start to form. But in terms of symbolism here, okay, what are we talking about when we're talking about the Six of Pentacles upright usually? We're talking about someone that gives a lot of themselves, and they might not even necessarily be in the best position to give. So you might be giving a lot of your time, even though you're not making enough time for yourself, giving a lot of your money, although you may not consider yourself rich. So very generous, extremely charitable. Who doesn't love a Leo? Come on now. I mean, Leo, you fill the room with your passion and your love, and you motivate people to become better versions of themselves. Some people don't always see the goodness in your extremely, your loud, vibrant self. Sometimes people are, overly sensitive, and they think, hey, calm down, you don't need to be so aggressive. When in fact, they might not necessarily even, they're not looking at you in the way that you see yourself when you're presenting yourself. Because Leo, center of attention, center of the earth, represented by the sun, so bright, you shine so bright. And what I want to say is that sometimes people are jealous of you for it, actually. Sometimes people might make snarky comments because they think, oh, he or she is just doing that because they want attention. He or she doesn't even really mean to say these nice things. And I just want to say, Leo, draw your strength, okay, from the fact that you know what you're doing. And you know what you bring to others and what you bring to this world, usually through a lot of incredible art. Theater. A lot of Leos are very creative people, and they love to work on music. They love to work on all kinds of art. Not everyone gets it, but as long as the Leo is fulfilled in expressing themselves, then it doesn't matter. because that's what's most important. What's most important is that you're working on things that make you happy. It doesn't matter if everyone gets it or not. Do you know what I mean? We're all going to go through periods where some of our work is more relatable. That's not always going to be the case. Again, back to this card and how it relates in a way. Some people might look at you and think that there's an ulterior motive, right, for why it is that you're being so generous or kind, and think, well, they must want something in return. And in some way, that takes the goodness out of what you're trying to do. And it doesn't take the goodness out of it because you want to take the goodness out of it, but because people might not be so nice, for lack of a better word, right? Might not be fairly evaluating you and your performance. And I'm just going to draw another card from the very tiny Universal Weight deck. Page of Swords, reversed. Also something to say, because we've been talking about the Six of Pentacles, and I've been giving you an interpretation of the Six of Pentacles in its upright format, whereas in your case, it has shown itself in the reverse. And that's really where this idea of generosity and giving oneself somehow gets contorted in all of it, due to others' perspective of you. And this, to some degree, draws a lot of energy away from you. Leo, you usually give people energy, and you give this energy freely. You want to, and by giving your energy, you're also receiving usually positivity from this. But you might not be around people that are seeing you in the best of light, and therefore the reciprocity of you trying to do something good, unfortunately, you might not be getting back this positivity the way that you usually do. So I urge you to shield yourself. With the Page of Swords coming out in the reverse, this is very confusing to you at the moment, and you don't quite understand what it is that you might be doing wrong or right. You might yourself be going through certain conflicting thoughts in your head, thinking, well, am I really doing this selflessly? For example, if you want to donate to charity and you keep hearing people say, well, if you're donating because you want to look good, then really you're not being charitable. And that puts you off because that thought may have not even occurred to you, right? Until the person said it. And we talk about, in the general reading, we talk about people kind of, making it very difficult for others to be controlling of their own situation right now. Or in your case, it could be making you feel guilty for doing something, when really you have every right to do what makes you feel right in the moment. It's really quite a simple reading. It's at least from my perspective. We overthink, right? We overthink, and we value what others have to say. And yes, people's input is great. It's good for us to see other perspectives. It's good for us to have open conversations with others, especially when we're asking for their advice, right? Especially when we want to know what they think. But if others are making their thoughts known to you and you haven't even asked for it, you didn't ask for their opinion, it can get to you sometimes. Don't let it get to you. Simply put, don't be convinced somehow that someone's uninvited perspective has the right to shift your own original motivations. Does that kind of make sense? Because what we end up doing then is sinking into this rabbit hole of us double double checking our motivations, and thinking, well, maybe that person was right. Maybe I wasn't being sincere. Oh no. I was trying to, put some good karma out there, and suddenly now I'm not receiving the best of attention in the world, and I honestly, this wasn't what I was looking for. This wasn't what I was trying to do, and that throws you off your game. So Leo, Page of Swords is a character that sometimes goes off into the wild with a new idea and is quite confident in her ability to basically, learn all the new things and pursue her passion, but isn't necessarily looking in front of her and ends up tripping over herself and sometimes even hurting other people along the way, because she could be overeager. She could be extending herself a little bit too much, or thinking, okay, now's the right time to put myself out in the open. Maybe it was, but after all, a premature move, and may have required a bit more planning, basically. But that's okay, because all things can be recovered from. All things can be recovered from. Wow. Having a hard time, you guys, keeping my thoughts straight over the last couple of days. Jumbled energies. So forgive me for that. Anyway, I hope that at least part of this reading made some sense to you. And if it resonated, then great. And if it didn't, that's okay. It's completely fine. If you want to check out the general reading, go ahead. I'll be placing the link in the description beneath. You can share your thoughts with me, what you thought about this reading. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Shoot me an email if you want. So I think I've got one more sign to do, and we will be wrapping up these July readings. But I've enjoyed being back. And I've enjoyed reading everyone's comments and stuff. So, again, thank you for all your continued support. Be well and stay safe.